How to quickly move the view selection of tracks automatically or via one MIDI button going to different tracks here. So as you can see, I'm just hitting one MIDI input button here via my controller, and I can cycle and select different track views here. I set up 4. You can see I'm now in inside group. I'm now going to a return track here, and I'm now on the main track, and I'm now back to the MIDI track I want to show you stuff on. Hi, I'm Toby from abletondrummer.com. I develop Max for Live devices with a focus on how to make performance with Ableton Live easier or more customizable. So I have those 2 devices here, which are for automating, selecting the track view in a different way. So if you have a big set, sometimes when you're performing live, you want to go to a certain track at a certain point, and you might want to be able to automate this. Or if you're in production, you might just want to say, well, actually, I want to go to certain views. I quickly want to see the EQ here, for example, on the main track, and then go to whatever else, let's say the echo on my return track here. So this is possible via those Max for Live devices. Max for Live is needed to make use of those. You can get those Max for Live devices, just follow the links in the video description. Okay, so let's have a look how this is being set up. Let's start with the first device here, which is special, or offers this special function here for actually automating a selection. So let's set this up with a MIDI controller first. So let's say we have one MIDI track, it's sitting on a MIDI track. We need to make sure that the MIDI from our controller is being routed in. So we got our LPD MK2, that's a MIDI controller I'm using here. This is selected. I set the monitor to in, so making sure the MIDI is always passing through. So I now have this button, and I can see when I press this button here that the indicators are flashing, MIDI is going through. That's great. So now I have this device here, and I can set up this button here to the device, and I only need to switch on the device here, the MIDI input, note input here. So the button here needs to send a MIDI message, MIDI note message here. So now it's detecting that I'm sending in a D1, and now this D1 is triggering select and view track. Now I need to define which track I want to view. So I have a menu down below here, and if I add or remove tracks, I just need to hit R for refresh, and then I get the menu updated here. So let's say we want to make it easy. Let's say we want to select the second MIDI track here. So I select this here, and I now define this in the top field here. Nice and visually, I just need to hit S once for sync and learning, and I see now, okay, so this track will be selected when I trigger my MIDI note here, and you can see it's jumping to the selection, is jumping to the second track here. So I have one more thing I can actually now decide. Let's say I want to have the clip view. So if I'm in scene 1 here, and I'm now selecting the view, it's jumping to the clip view. I can say, well, actually, I want this to jump to the device view of this track. So if we just quickly put on a device on here just to demonstrate. So if we're going back, so now if I have the device view selected, it will go to the track view where you can see the different devices you got on this track here. So depending on what you want to see, you need to set this up. So this is showing you that with a MIDI controller sending a MIDI note here. Obviously you can MIDI map this button here as well, but so far you can do most of that via your MIDI controller anyways, because you can just MIDI map this track here as well. But if you want to automate this change, so let's say you want at a certain point in your set, let's say you trigger scene 2 here, and on scene 2 you want this view to change to the track 2 here we set up. you can now set up this D1 or whatever note you are matching up here in the MIDI clip. So for this case, we need to set the monitor to auto so that it's listening to MIDI notes coming from the track. And which note did we just set up? We set up a D1 in here. So now if we set up a D1, and maybe let's do this just here, setting in a D1, maybe at the count of 2, let's turn off the loop. So let's say you are in your session, you're playing live, and now if we just start scene 2, we can see that the view changed automatically. I'm not sure if you could see that. So we are in viewing track 1 here down below now. And if we're now starting this track here, this scene here, as soon as the playhead goes over the note we set up here, it's selecting, triggering that in the device that the view is changing. So this way you can set up a track selection automatically. Okay, so the other use case would be how to switch between the view of 10 tracks. That's the right term here, or the right topic here. So if we have a look on the second device we got on this MIDI track, we're now gonna switch back to our input via a MIDI controller. Let's turn on this device here. Again, Max for Live device. Max for Live device. Max for Live is included in Ableton Live Suite or can be bought as an add-on towards Ableton Live Standard. You will need Max for Live to make use of those devices here. Okay, so I already set up multiple tracks here, 4 tracks here, so I can define how many tracks I want. So let's say I only want 2, so it gives me only 2 tracks if I want to cycle between a view of 2 tracks here. So I'm currently now cycling through the inside group track here and a return track here, and same goes here as well. If I want to set up more tracks, I want to cycle through. So let's say we got 4, and let's get rid of the 2 I already set up here before. I have this menu and I can select, let's say track 2 maybe, hit S, and now this is being matched here. Let's set up one more. Let's say maybe another group. The group track here, this one here. So now I have those 4 tracks being set up to be selected via this MIDI note, which I'm triggering in here. And this will now select the first one, which will be inside group, then be echo, 2 MIDI and another group, and we'll go to those different tracks here. So if you are in production and you want to quickly go or change between 2 or 3 tracks and just making sure, you know, maybe there are a few things you would like to observe while production rehearsals, or while you're playing live, or while you are producing, you could set this up and quickly go through those different tracks here. Again, you have the possibility to set this to clip view or to device view, or stay in the current view. So depending on what's currently selected in your view, it will go to this one. So let's set up the clip for this one. So now we have the group track and it's showing us those 2 clips inside here. We have inside group, this orange one. We got the return track here now being selected, and we have no clip in there. So the track view down below, it's not showing us anything. And on 2 MIDI, we don't have a clip in the second scene here where we're currently. So it's not showing one as well. So we can change this to device view, and we can see if we have a device in this audio of MIDI effect track on that track, it will go to that view. Cool. Obviously you can automate this as well if you want to, but I think most use cases for the second device here is the select track view 10 is really like to set up to 10 or less tracks here. You want to cycle through the view. So there is one important thing here. If you are considering using the view for inside group tracks here, you need to make sure that the group is opened and not folded, because otherwise it can't select the track view in here. I could have set this up to be automatically opened, but I felt like, okay, if that's being used for live purposes, then you don't want, if you forgot to open this up, and then if you want something visually here and you have a group with a lot of tracks, then this would need a close function here as well. And that's just thought like, okay, better you have your set up so that you have the right track and the group tracks maybe set up like this. So you are now able to even go into the group track if you have stuff on there and have this seen in the track view at the bottom below in the device view or in the clip view. Okay, so get those Max for Live devices if you're excited about that, or if you want to find out more, follow the link in the video description. Take care, bye bye.